People often ask Gillian and me how we ended up on the farm. It's hard to know how far back to go when answering that question. I grew up in Scarborough, the easternmost and most reviled suburb of Toronto. Mike Myers grew up there too, and says that Scarborough was his inspiration for Wayne's World, which sums the place up pretty nicely. I had a great childhood, but even when I was very young, I knew I wanted to get out of there and see the world. Gillian grew up on a sheep farm outside the tiny village of Williamstown, Vermont, and similarly vowed to escape as soon as she could. We launched ourselves into the world at about the same time in the early 1990s, both of us propelled by a potent mix of idealism, ambition, adrenaline, and libido, both of us utterly assured of our own immortality. The inevitable crossing of our paths occurred in 1994. We were both working for the National Democratic Institute, an American organization that sought to spread and strengthen democratic government. I was living in the Lilongwe, the sleepy capital of the Republic of Malawi in Central Africa. Gillian had just finished a 2-year stint in Botswana with the Peace Corps and was the Malawi desk officer at NDI headquarters in Washington, D.C. Email was a new and frightening invention at that time, so our romance started by fax. I would photocopy giant cockroaches and wall geckos and make custom letterhead for my messages to her. She fell for it, of course. I convinced her to relocate to the Malawi office, and the rest is history. We became roommates, then sleeping buddies, then fell in love, in that order. We lived together for 2 years in Malawi, then spent time in over a dozen countries, sometimes separately, but usually together. We had the good fortune to be in the thick of the action as the world sorted itself out after the end of the Cold War. We helped organize the assembly that wrote a new constitution for Malawi, conducted public opinion research in the tribal areas of Yemen, and organized international observer delegations to landmark elections in Ghana, Nigeria, and Indonesia, all while we were still in our mid-20s. We worked incredibly hard, but it was also incredibly fun. We would probably still be at it today, but our luck finally ran out in 1999 in East Timor. We were working for former President Jimmy Carter at the time, leading a small team of international observers in the run-up to the UN-sponsored referendum on independence from Indonesia. The Indonesian military had created surrogate militias to intimidate the population prior to the vote, and when 2/3 of the Timorese chose independence, the militias literally started to burn the whole place down. We got caught by a group of drug-crazed, sword-wielding thugs in the port of Dili, the capital, while trying to evacuate our local staff. Gillian and I escaped in separate vehicles, our translator's father clinging to the hood of my car while his extended family screamed inside Gillian's as she raced along behind me. After a high-speed chase through the streets of Dili, a motorbike darted in front of me, the passenger on the back trying to aim a pistol at my head as I swerved. I finally ran down the motorbike to avoid being shot. We ended up being arrested by the Indonesian police, forced to pay compensation to the guys on the motorbike who had been trying to kill us, escorted to the airport, and placed on the last civilian evacuation flight out of East Timor. There's nothing like staring down the barrel of a Colt 45 to shift your focus to the important things in life, one of which is actually staying alive. After East Timor, we moved home and got married. Gillian and I bought a house in downtown Toronto with my brother Mike, a big old place on Palmerston Boulevard, the most elegant street in the city. Mike and his future wife, Sue, had the top-floor apartment. Gillian and I were on the second floor, and we rented out the first floor and basement apartments. We could walk 5 minutes south to the bars and restaurants on College Street, the heart of Little Italy, or 3 minutes north to the sushi and barbecue places in Koreatown along Bloor Street. Gillian found a job at a public sector management consulting firm, and I started working as a producer for CBC Television, the national broadcaster.